get that in your spirit. You can get that in your heart. When you leave this place, I'm telling you, you're going to practice in a way you've never practiced before. And if you can practice in a way you've never practiced before, you're going to play in a way that you've never played before. All right. So principle number 2. So I got to tell this story, right? Forgive me, but I like to tell stories because I bring the message on. I had 2 children. My son's somewhere in the building, 2 children. Now I'm a little different than most people. If you heard the story, don't tell nobody. Please don't tell them. All right, I'm a little different than most people. I'm the type of father I want to have a daughter first. Any fathers in the place with a daughter? Show me, hey, any fathers here with daughters? We got a couple fathers. All right, good. So I wanted a daughter first. My grandma had 14 kids, 11 females. I had 2 uncles I never saw because they were in prison in Chicago. So I grew up, my aunts, my grandmother. So I wanted a daughter first. I didn't really want a son because me and my mom, we had our little differences, so I didn't want nobody that was just like me. So I had my son first, and my mother called it karma. She said, everything you did to me is going to come back to you. Right, so I gave my son a different name, but he acted just like me. About 2 years later, I had my daughter. So I don't remember when it was. I think she was probably in the 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade. I went to pick my daughter up from school, and in our school district, they use numbers. They don't use their name. So when I picked my daughter up, I showed them number 4. They called number 4 to the front, please, number 4 to the front. Now number 4 came out this day. It was a little different. When number 4 came out, number 4, she was crying. And I was like, whoa, what's wrong? Like I saw my daughter crying. Like I said, I love my daughter. So my son, if I see my son crying, I'm like, suck it up, go back out there, fight, do what you gotta do. But my daughter, like, don't touch my daughter. I don't want nobody to touch my daughter. So my daughter's crying, and automatically I'm thinking like, man, some little boy just hit my daughter, and I'm about to kill her. It's fine. I pull my belt off like, little man, get me, all right? So I'm looking at my daughter and she crying. I'm talking about, when I say she crying, guys, I'm talking about that type of crying you do, this old school, y'all don't know about this, but this that kind of crying that when your grandma used to whip you, there's no noise come out. You just like, right? And then finally the teacher, Daddy. I said, what's wrong, sweetheart? Daddy. I'm like, just point to my man. You ain't got to say his name. Just point to him. And I got this. Little man about to get it. He's never gotten a whipping. Today is his lucky day. I'm murdering him. She said, no, Daddy, no, you don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm like, you sorry for what? What happened? She said, Daddy, I'm sorry. I said, what happened? She said, Daddy, I got a B in math. I was like, boo, I'm about to go to jail because you got a B in math? I'm about to kill my man. And so she devastated, y'all. She's crying, she's hurt. Daddy, it's my first B ever. I won't be all A's, I'll be AP honor roll. I don't want to be a pigeon, I want to be an eagle. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, it'll be all right. We're going to work on it. Next time we'll get him. I get home, I take her home, we get ice cream. My daughter's still going through it, she's crying. My son comes in the house, he plays football. He comes in the house, report card day. Like, he like, woo! He pumped, like, what up? I'm like, what's up, son? He like, Dad, behold, report card day, Dad. I'm like, yes, finally. My man playing ball now, he's stepping up his game. I'm going to get his report card. He's like, oh, don't touch that. Promise me if you like it, we're going out to eat tonight. I'm like, no doubt, we're going out to eat. Yeah, where you want to go? He like, red line for PF chain, let's do it big. I'm like, all right, no problem. So I pick up my man report card, he's smiling like, yeah, buddy. Yeah. I open up my man's report card, he got all C's. He like, yeah, man. I passed all my classes. I'm still on the football team. I'm like, son, you got a C- in English, but I got a C+ in gym. That balanced all that out, Dad. That's a 2.0 right there, baby. It's a 2.0. Right? My daughter in the corner cried, because she got a B. My son got all C, like, yeah, what? I'm not going to repeat this grade. Yes. And I'm going through it, y'all. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, I got 2 kids. Like, this is crazy. Like, they both were in the same school district. Like, what in the world just happened, right? So principle number 2, listen to me good. Principle number 2, this is important, right? Because when I ask, elementary, middle school kids, who's the smartest, my son or my daughter? They tell me who. They say, my daughter's the smartest. son. Raise your hand if you believe that. You believe what I'm saying. My son is smarter than my daughter. Raise your hand. Yep. Can I be honest with you guys? My daughter, she goes to school early. She stays after lunch with the teacher. She stays after school. My son has never seen a tutor. Junior year, senior year, he trying to get into his dream school. Junior year, my man turns it up. Senior year, he turns it up. They tell my man, we're gonna look at the last semester, and if you do well your last semester, my man got like a 3.5 GPA, murdered him. Freshman year almost failed out. Sophomore year barely passed. Junior year, senior year, my man turns it up and makes it happen. What's the difference between my son and my daughter? The difference between my son and my daughter, even though my daughter does better academically and she's not as smart as her brother, is because my daughter has a different set of expectations. Listen to me and listen to me closely. My son, whatever, it was a point in his life that whatever you need to get just to pass, he's going to find out what that is. He's going to do exactly what he's told to do. He's going to do just enough to pass, and then boom, he's going to get that, he's going to stop. My daughter wants to know what the highest mark is. She wants to get to that. She wants to get to that. Listen to me. She wants to know what the benchmarks is. She wants to reach the benchmarks, and then she wants to excel the benchmarks. My son just wants to know what the benchmarks are, and then he wants to get right there. Nothing more, nothing less. I'll say it again. My daughter wants to know what the benchmarks are. She wants to reach the benchmarks, and then she wants to sky high beyond the benchmark. And most of you, if coach tell you do 50, that's all you do. If coach said give me 100, that's all you do. If coach said this is the effort that I need from you, that's all you do. But if you're going to be great, if you guys are going to get from where you are now and go to the cream of the crop, you're going to go to another level. What you got to do is you got to find the norm, and then you got to create a new normal. I'm going to say it again. You have to find what normal is, and then you got to create a new normal. Let me tell you about my life. Because maybe you didn't hear my story, and so you missed it. I need you to know what the benchmarks are in your sport, in your particular area, in your particular expertise. I need you to know it, I need you to reach it, and then I need you to excel. I need you to go way past it. So when I got my GED, I told you my mother barely finished high school and my father's still working on the GED. So when I got my GED, everybody was like, wow, Eric got his GED. Then I went to college. It took me 4 years to get a 12-year degree, but I got that 12-year degree, and I was like, woo, first generation. I was the first one to do it. I was the first one to go to college. I was like number 3 to finish. I had a 4-year degree. Nobody in our family, 14, grandma had 14 kids, nobody went to college. I was like, woo, I did it. And a pastor who was a mentor said, Eric, you need to get your master's degree. He said, you know what the benchmarks are. You reached it with a 4-year degree. Now I'm challenging you to go further. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. He said, what do you mean by that? I said, I heard in the master's program, they do a lot of reading and writing. I flunked English 3 times. All they do is read and write with no multiple choice in the master's program. No test taking. All right. He said you can do it. Listen to me. I got my master's degree. When I got my master's degree, I found out what the expectations for my family was. It's barely getting out of high school. And I didn't stop there. I found out what the benchmarks were. I reached the benchmarks, got that 4-year degree, and then I set some new benchmarks. So I got the master's degree. And then somebody said, E.T., you got the master's, just go get the PhD. I said, man, I'm not a student. They said, look, just if you go and if you fail, you can always quit. So I went, finished all my coursework, finished both comps, and I'm working on a dissertation right now. Listen to me very closely. Find out what normal is and create a new normal. All right. So if that wasn't enough, I wrote a book. The second book is on its way. You're not hearing what I'm telling you. The voiceover. So what happened was, I knew what the benchmarks in my family were. So I decided that I know what they are. I'm going to reach them and I'm going to surpass them. Do me a favor, raise your hand right now. If you can say E.T. Right now, I'm in pursuit of not only knowing what the benchmarks are, reaching those benchmarks, but I want to excel. I want to go past those benchmarks. Raise your hand for me. Good. I need 3 people.